This is a video that will have a look at the application called Skitch. And Skitch has been acquired by Evernote and works closely with your Evernote account. What Skitch does is capture and edit and mark up your screen captures and images with shapes and comments. You can then sync those images to your Evernote account as notes, or you can save them as images in your hard drive or transfer them into any application like Word or a mail message. And the Skitch app is available for all platforms, so PC, Mac, Android devices, and mobile devices. To obtain Skitch, go into evernote.com because there is a link down the bottom here for all of the applications that are tied to Evernote. So if you want Skitch, you can tap on that link, click on that link, and there are the available links to go and download it for other platforms. So it's available for Windows and for the new Windows 8, particularly tablets. Any previous versions of Skitch will work as well. What I'm going to demonstrate Skitch on is a Mac system. So I've using a MacBook Pro, also have Skitch as an app for the iPad and the iPhone. So once you've downloaded the appropriate platform, so I could get it for the Mac. So just follow the link and it will download and install it, and once you've done that, come back. Here we have Skitch, and it simply looks like, if I go back down to the dock here, looks like a little heart, and just open it. And on the menu bar, let's just I'll leave that there, so I'll take a screen capture of that screen shortly. There is some in the Mac. There are some options up here for Skitch, and one of the first things you'd need to do is change the preferences, set up the preferences to so you can see how it's going to work with Evernote. If you don't have an Evernote account, then sign up for an Evernote account at evernote.com, because even if you don't use it for notes, it still would give you a backup approach for your Skitch images. They would all be, if you choose to, save them to Evernote always, then they're always going to be there as a backup in case you accidentally delete them. So in the preferences, under the sync preferences, you need to decide how are notes that you produce in Skitch, so create an image of a screen or a snap of a screen, annotated it, used it in a blog somewhere. Now, do I also want it to be saved to Evernote? And if you select always, then every time you create a Skitch note, it will immediately be synced to your Evernote account. And that's what I do. I always keep it there in case I need to use that image some other time and I've deleted it off the hard drive. And you have other options. You can ask every time you create an image, do you want this to be synced to Evernote? Or you can never ask and it will just never happen. If you are using Evernote, then you have the opportunity to create or let Skitch know which notebook Skitch notes will be saved into. So I've created a Skitch notebook, and so every time I produce a note in Skitch, an image, an annotated image, it's always going to be synced up to my Evernote account and stored in a Skitch notebook, where I can then either delete them all or move them into a different notebook. And there's the opportunity to do that. I want it to go into a new notebook, not anything that's already there. Or I could put them into my inbox. So I've got an option to decide which one I want it to go in. All my notes go into the inbox, but I really don't want to clog up the inbox with images and annotations. So I'll just put it into a notebook called Skitch where I can find them all and do a mass delete if I don't want them. And I want that process to occur every 5 minutes. And you also have the option, if you are going to quit Skitch and it hasn't finished the syncing process, that it would let you know. So preferences first, so just at least get it set up. Up in the top here, you have your Evernote account. So there's a shortcut to your Evernote account where you can just check some of the settings there. This is a toggle. So if you click that, it actually takes you to the main window where if there was an image there, these are the annotating tools. And we'll look at them shortly. And go back and forward. So once you have a whole lot of notes, they're just all stored here. and that is the sync button. So if you want to actually set up a sync immediately, you could select that, and it's now going to sync whatever note is here to your Evernote account. And you can search for notes if you have lots of them here. I tend to delete them all. Once I've created all the notes, they're synced up to Evernote. I've dragged them out of Skitch and put them into whatever application I'm using at the time. I really don't want them clogging up this, so I delete them all. In this middle part here is the types of captures you can do, already set up as presets. And so you could take a full screen snap of whatever's on the screen. So if I do that, it's going to give me a screen capture of this web page. Move that out. That's the web page that's currently there. And it gives me a full screen capture. I can then use the annotation tools to draw attention to certain elements on it. So for example, if I wanted a rectangle around this part, I could do that and let go. I can resize it. If I wanted a different color, as long as it was selected by clicking on it, I can choose a different color. And we'll go into the tools a little bit later. It gives you the type of file it is. So at the moment it's a JPEG, but I could say I want this to be a PNG, so it would fit more seamlessly into a keynote presentation. And I've got a size 640 by 400. Now I can resize it, or I can drag it that way to make it bigger. And I can resize it by clicking this, and then I can just select that part of the picture I want. So if I found I've done a full screen capture and I didn't really want all that, I could just resize it, hit apply, and it just becomes this. The actual note, when you click on the thumbnails here, you can see the note. I don't think there's any way you can actually rename it. This thing, just the type of snap it is and the dates. But this note will sync to the Evernote account online. So as soon as you create a note, it syncs, or you can manually do it that way. And this is the Evernote account online, and into the Skitch folder is the actual note. It will also be in the desktop Skitch notebook, and that won't occur until you actually manually sync, or you wait for the automated sync time to occur, but it's also there in the Skitch notebook in the Evernote desktop account. And the same would occur for any of your mobile devices. As soon as you sync your mobile device with your online Evernote account, all your notes will appear. Now there are other options for capturing. Let's go back to the one we just did was a full screen snap. You can also take a portion of the screen. So before we do that, let's just open up the web page. So let's go back to that web page and back to Skitch and take a screen snap. And a screen snap will just take a portion of the screen. So say I just wanted this little bit here. I can just highlight the part of the screen I want. I can then accept the dimensions of that image and just click capture. If I wanted to make it a bit bigger, I can change it here, change the dimensions, turn off the aspect orientation there. But to do that, if I was to change that, it's just going to create a bigger screen snap size. So really, I'm just going to leave it at that, capture it. And then it comes into your annotation window where you can annotate it, and we'll look at how to annotate it shortly and what else to do with it. We go back to the thumbnails. There's the actual, you can see it syncing there too. There's the image. It's starting to sync. So it's syncing up to the online Evernote account. Apparently finished. So if we reload that page, let's see if it's actually there. It's this online Skitch. You can see it syncing there, that little quick flash syncing. Skitch's now got 3 notes in it. There it is there. If I go down to the desktop, there's still only 2 in this one because I need to sync my desktop account, and you can see it there. It's downloading data. The desktop account needs to be synced with the online, and there it is. The notes come in. So you've got a screen snap where you can do a portion of the screen, and a full screen snap we can actually do a note from the camera. There I am. Hello. Photo. And use that one. And annotate. Put a circle around it, or whatever we want to do. That one will now sync. We can also open a file. So from my Finder, and in this case we'll go into the downloads and for a photo, messy desk. So I can open that photo from my desktop or anywhere and annotate that. So I might put a little text annotation. This is a messy desk. And I might draw attention to get the arrow going in the right direction. I never can. So let's try that. I can draw attention to the fact that this woman is stuck in the middle of a messy desk, change the colour of the arrow, etc. And we'll look a bit more at that shortly. And now I can see that this collection of notes that are all being synced to the online Evernote. There's the syncing occurring. Or you can do a blank one, in which case you might want to build up something yourself. So to starting with a shape, doing some text, doing some arrows, whatever you want to do, fuzzing things out. And if I want to delete it, go back here. If I really like it, I can right click on it and delete and trash it. So that's how you get them into Sketch. That's how you capture them. These are all built in here. The other way to do it is if you want to use keystrokes, if you're going into the capture menu, there is the same ways to capture notes there, but there are the screen, the keystrokes to do it. So if I'm often doing a not a full screen, just a snapshot area, Option Command 5, which I'm just doing now, so I can just capture that. Capture. If I wanted to. So I often use that one instead of actually doing the menus here, because to do this one means you actually have to have it up on the screen. It has to be the active application, and I'm often not in it, but I might be in a website and I just want to snap a bit of that screen and annotate it and send it off somewhere. So capturing, that's how you capture. How do you annotate your images? So let's pick the messy desk one, and I'm picking it from the actual thumbnails in Sketch, and I right click it to open it. And I have all these tools to annotate, and all those tools also, let's get rid of some of this background stuff. All of these tools can also be found as keystrokes in here. So if I wanted to do a text box, and I'm in Sketch and Sketch is active, instead of actually clicking on the A, which will do a text box, I could just do a T. So hitting the T key also does the same thing. So I've got some stuff already on here, so I want to get rid of the annotations. I can just click on it till it becomes a little crosshair arrow and hit the delete and get rid of it. So I'll leave the messy desk there. So to do any text, you simply click in the A and then click anywhere on the screen. So I'll do it again. This is a messy desk. And then click away and return. Return will give you a blank line. Just click out of it. Then I can click on it to move it. I can make it bigger by dragging the blue dot to make that bigger. I can change its colour as long as it's highlighted and active. I can then click on the colour and maybe make it a different colour to stand out. Click away. So any text you want to delete your text, I'm going to delete this one, so I'm just going to click on it and hit the delete key, and that's gone. So you can do all different colours, and you can make your pens bigger. I think that does. Makes the text bigger by doing it that way. Let's put it into the middle. You can do arrows, arrows to highlight things, and I never get the direction right where you actually have to start from. So I'm starting from the left and moving to the right, and that's sort of the correct way. And the more I go out, the bigger I can make that arrow. The other way is starting from here and going that way. If you go the wrong way, you can just turn it round, click on it, and move it in. You can change the direction, you can change the length. To change the colour, as long as it's active, to click on the colour and make it a different colour. And to delete it, so highlight it and delete. The different shapes. So if I click on that, I've got all these different shapes that I can put around that image. So if I wanted to encircle that with a square, and the current colour is blue, and you can already see as soon as I go onto that image, the rectangle is there ready to go. So maybe I'll just highlight this little bit of the messy desk and let go. Click on it again. I can change its colour and make it pink. Any colour that makes it stand out, green perhaps, and then I can change the dimensions of it by highlighting it and moving the little blue dots. Click away. So any shape you want, you've got the square, the circle, the whatever that is, a line. So if I wanted to do a line, just a straight line, holding the shift key down so it's straight, highlight it, change its colour, make it red, highlight it, delete it. These are highlighting pens, so I can again click on that. The active colour is this red, so I'm going to just colour in, highlight a little bit of the picture, which in this case sort of doesn't make much, doesn't help it. So it's quite dark. It's like colouring in. And that one I think is not sure. I think that one's just a little bit wider, so it's a wider pen. And it's not as dark as this one. So to delete it, I'm just highlighting it, and I can hit the delete key, or I can use on the Mac Command Z, which will undo and redo the previous command. I just tend to click on it, delete it, click on it, and delete it. So you can change the colour. You've got the highlighter active, make it yellow, and colour in over the messy desk and let go. And you know, there may be uses for that. I can't see what it would be at the moment though. And then to delete it, click on it, or Command Z. That didn't work. Click on it, delete. What are these other? This is a resize, crop and resize. So if I click on that, and I want to make this picture a little bit smaller, so I can drag with the blue dots and just change the dimensions. And I'm only going to take that bit, and everything else I'm going to crop away. And you can see down the bottom there you've got the new dimension. So if you need a specific size, you can actually put that in there. Can resize it, doing it that way by actually changing the whole photo. That's make it as big as I like here, or go down here. I'll leave it where it was. Oh, it's about there, I think. So I don't want to resize it, I want to crop it. So let's move the blue and apply. And it does make the picture bigger, actually, so I can drag on the edges there and just make that a bit smaller. Or actually make it a bit smaller from here. It's still a bit small for me, so I might resize it and make it that big. A couple more things that you can do with annotation. This is a different image. This is one that I used before to capture the screen with. Put a couple of annotations on there. And this one is one that will fuzz out important details. So perhaps I have some sensitive data that I don't really want shown on the annotation. So maybe these people's pictures down here, I can just use this to blur out anything I don't want to be seen. So it's useful if you've got forms that you want to show and you don't want to show passwords or phone numbers. It just blurs everything out. All the annotation tools, very simple there to master and quite powerful. What do you do with the images once you've captured them? You can save them to your hard drive, you can share them, you can drag them into another application and use them. And at the bottom there is Drag Me. There's the current size, and at the moment it's in a JPEG format. There are other formats that you can select. Just bring that up a bit. So a PNG, JPEG, a TIFF, a GIF, a BMP, whichever one you want. I'll select PNG and drag it into Word. So it's open up a Word document, and it'll go into any application that you're using, emails, PowerPoints, Keynote, whatever you're using. So to drag it, you just drag it down and into your new application, and once you see that little green cross, let it go. And that picture is now in Word, where I can now resize it. If I want it a bit smaller, I'll move it around, do whatever I want with it. The other way to save it is to go up here to the Share menu. I can email it. So by selecting this, it's going to open up the email program, which it's now doing. So it opens up the email and it puts it straight into the email message, and then I can send out that message. With that. I can send it to Twitter and attach it with a little tweet, post it to Facebook, or I can add it to my photo application. As I'm using a Mac, it's iPhoto. If you were in Windows, it would be whatever the Windows photo application is. Or I can just save it to my, which will then save it to the hard drive. I can copy and share the URLs. So I can do a fair bit with images, or I can just leave them in my Evernote account as synced notes. And if I do that anyway, that's a backup of all these images. If you've got to do a tutorial of some sort, you need to do a whole lot of instructions. Skitch is a really good way of capturing an image for wherever it is and annotating it and sending it on. It's a good way of collaboration as well.